Oh, we've been buying milk from our local farmer up the road. This is whole raw milk. Comes from a Holstein, and Holsteins have really creamy milk, so sometimes it's hard to tell where the cream ends and the milk begins. But in order to pull the cream off for making butter, you have to let the milk set for, I don't know, 6 or 8 hours to a day, and they'll usually separate out. This one's really hard to tell, like I said. I think it's somewhere in here, but I think the only way I'm going to be able to tell is if I start scooping it, and you'll be able to tell in the scoop, because the cream of course is a lot thicker and kind of a yellow color, and the milk is watery and kind of a blue color. So we'll see if we can do that. I like to use a little ladle like this. Fits in the top well, and you can sink it in and kind of let the cream fall over the top. You can see how thick it is there. And I just transfer it to another jar. We have lots of cream in our milk. These people also have a Guernsey, and the Guernseys have less cream. It's probably half this amount. Alright, I think we're getting there now. You can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but as it starts coming in the top, you can see it's kind of mixed together. You can see the paler, thinner milk mixing in with the cream. You can see it swirling around in there, the cream and the milk. And when you're making butter, you really want to try to get as little milk in it as you can. That's probably about as far as I want to go. Otherwise, you end up with a lot at the end, and you have to spend a lot of time getting it out of the butter. So I'll show you that later. Now that the cream has been separated from the milk, you just make sure that the cream is at room temperature. And I like to use a mason jar, and then I have a reusable lid for the mason jar. Make sure it's on there nice and tight, and then you just start shaking it. Doesn't have to be fast, just a little at a time. Usually Frank and I sit on the couch at night watching TV, taking turns, and depending on how much cream you have, of course the more cream you have, the longer it takes, but it's usually around half hour, 45 minutes. So we'll be back in a bit to show you what it looks like. Well, it's been about 40 minutes, and you can see the solid's starting to form. That's really what takes the longest. Once that starts happening, it usually goes fairly quickly. So I'm guessing it'll be another 5 or 10 minutes. It's been another 10 minutes of shaking, and as you can see, it's starting to form into one large lump. So basically you just keep going until you think it's not forming anymore, And then what's left over is the buttermilk. And of course you can save that for cooking or drinking or whatever you like. So we'll go for a little bit longer and see. That's about how much of the liquid is left. We're all done shaking. You can see how much liquid is still left in there. And you can see the big clump of butter on the top there. So at this point, what we'll do, looks yummy. What we'll do is pour off the buttermilk, and we'll save that for later use. Perfect. Look at that. And then we're going to rinse this off until the liquid that's coming off of it is clear. Shake it around a little bit. What you're doing at this point is trying to get as much of the buttermilk off as you can. The more milk you have on it, the faster it will spoil. A couple more times. As you can see, it's getting to be pretty clear at this point. And one more time. That looks pretty good right there. Now I usually get some parchment paper or some wax paper, dump it out there. I'll get the rest of the butter off the lid too. Incorporate that in there. And then as you'll see, if you push on it, you'll still be pushing some of the milk out. So I just kind of squish it around like that. And whatever milk you get out of it, just get rid of it like that. Just do that. Move it around a bit until you think it's pretty well free of any extra milk or water. I'll show you right here. You can see the milk leaking out of it. So we'll just do that until that doesn't happen anymore. Then we can add a little bit of salt, mix it all up, and enjoy our fresh made butter. I have all the liquid out of the butter now, so I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Of course, this is just a taste, and for this I like to use the small table salt because it dissolves faster than, say, kosher or sea salt. Mix it in real good. And this may seem like an awful lot of work for a little tiny bit of butter, but I will tell you what, If you haven't had fresh made butter, you have no idea what you're missing. And I guarantee you that stuff in the store is not the same. A little taste here. Add a little bit more. Alright, another little taste. That is perfect. Now we'll have some fresh homemade butter on our fresh homemade bread. And they do still make butter molds, and I had one, except Frank broke it. So I'm going to put this butter just right in one of my glass snap-on containers. And then we'll put it in the fridge, and it will solidify nicely, and then it also melts very quickly. So, and you do, unlike the butter from the store, this will turn bad really quickly if you leave it out. So definitely keep it cold.